Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another wonderful episode of FCM Live presents TFCC Profiles. I'm your host, Jerry Caingcoy, TFCC founder. The Filipino Champions of Canada is an organization that is passionate of connecting, sharing, and inspiring one Philippine at a time. Our segment is about highlighting our community. And over the last couple of years, we have seen the rise of our community into being a vibrant community. And as the Filipino Champions of Canada, we pride in the support of the Filipino-Canadian businesses. And tonight, I have a very, very inspiring guest who comes from our Filipino-Canadian entrepreneurs. Without further ado, help me welcome my guest for tonight, Miss Fralei Gabor, CIC Experts.
Fralei Gabor Musa.
All right.
That's fantastic.
Okay. Good evening, Fralei. Thanks for joining us tonight, and it's a pleasure to have you on our show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. So, to some of you who are watching us right now, I'm sure if you are tuning in right now, join us in our conversation. You can actually send comments on the link below, and also if you will be watching this in another time, I hope that you will get some inspiring insights or values that you can learn from this conversation tonight. So first and foremost, Fralei, can you tell our audience about yourself?
About myself. Okay, my name is Fralei Gabor Musa.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an immigration consultant, a regulated immigration consultant in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm from the Philippines. I think that's all I can say for now.
All right. So I understand that you have been in the business for 5 years as a formal immigration consultancy business, which is CIC Experts. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's why we have invited you to be in this segment, because we want to highlight our outstanding Filipino-Canadian entrepreneurs. And the community here in Calgary is very vibrant because of the support of our Filipino-Canadian entrepreneurs. So let's go back to the very first thing first. First things first. Okay. First of all, why did you migrate to Canada? What was the reason why you came to Canada?
Oh well, that is a question that it's easy to answer, but it's really hard to answer.
That's right.
It's 50-50.
Yeah.
You don't know. Okay, so back in the Philippines, I had 4 children then.
Okay.
Okay, so we were comfortable. We were all right? But since I was a little kid, I always dream of going to the USA, going to Japan.
American dream.
It was an American dream, right?
Yeah.
And then here came the opportunity for me. It's just because it's been hard for me to get like a real job in the Philippines. I graduated Bachelor of Science in Accountancy, but then it was really hard for me to get like a nice job that I can be that I will be able to support my 4 other children. Well, my ex-husband was there as well, but it was hard. So so the opportunity to become a caregiver in Canada was on the table, right? So I took a caregiving course, and then I find ways how to get here. So we hired an agency. So that's how I came here, right? As a caregiver, as a nanny.
Yes.
At first, right? So I came here as a nanny. Well, it's a long story. It might take us all night, right? Okay, so I came here as a nanny, and I enjoyed it. I looked after 2 children at first, and then for the first 3 months, I was like, why am I looking after other kids when I can't even look after my children, right? So I'm like, maybe I should switch jobs, right? So I went to the papers and looked for another kind of job, but there wasn't many options for me. I still had to stick into the caregiver program. So I looked for an opportunity to look after a patient, a disabled patient. So I applied for a job there, and then I got lucky. I was hired, and then I had to quit my first job.
Okay.
It wasn't a good resignation, but you know what? I think it's for myself and for my children. I have to move on, right? So I took the other job. It's better paying money, and I think it's more what do you call this? There's more price into it, right? Yeah. Looking after a person with disability living on his own, and I am there helping him out, right? So then, until I get my permanent residence, right? So it wasn't easy. It was a step-by-step process, right? And then I was able to bring my children in Canada, and because I came to Canada in 2002.
Okay.
My kids came to Canada in 2006.
Okay, so about 4 years.
About 4 years after that.
Yes.
Okay.
But what were the adjustment? Like, if you are going to compare your adjustment back then in 2002 as compared to the present times, was it harder before than now?
It's about the same. Okay. I think it's just because that in 2002 there were no we call this there were not much Filipino community there, like group of Filipino that support each other.
That's right.
When I first got here, actually, to be honest with you, my agent said to me, stay away from Filipino people here. They're gonna put you down, or they're gonna tell you, bad things, like stay away from your employer or whatever. They're bad influence. That's what she told me. And I'm like, that's not a good thing, right? But I still, starting meeting people. It's, I think in this country, it's the people that you know too.
That's
right. You cannot go on your own. You need to know someone in order for you to educate yourself. Somebody has to educate you.
Yes,
right?
You raise a very important point that actually, to a lot, it's not only your experience. I've heard that comments also from other people, and it's not only you saying that. But this is my point about this issue. Being in a multicultural country or a city like Calgary, it is important that we embrace our culture. It is important that we have a very strong cultural identity as a Filipino. And over the last couple of years, and I've seen you involve yourself in the community, we have seen really how it is important for us to be part of such a good community like our community, and also at the same time being part of the greater Canadian community. Yes. And as you have, thanks for sharing your story, because a lot of people may be wondering, or who are watching us right now, early in maybe 20 years ago or 10 years ago, so many Filipinos coming from the Philippines migrated to Canada as caregivers.
Yes.
And Fralei is just one of those caregivers who did not just settle being a caregiver.
No.
Because there's always that opportunity or equal chances for everyone.
Yes.
Right? So now, even if I didn't know this story of yours, I can already sense that you came from a really good place where what you're doing right now has very much it's very much related to what you went through as a person.
It was an inspiration, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, if there is, with all this experience, I know it's not an easy thing to come to Canada, leave your family behind, your children, work here for 4 years, and only after 4 years you're able to bring your family here. It entails a lot of hard work. If there's one valuable lesson that you have learned from this experience, what would that be?
Well, I think you have to focus. The goal here is to bring my family over, especially my children, right? And in order for you to achieve that goal, you have to focus on your job, because if I wasn't patient enough to finish my 2 years contract as a caregiver, right? It's not easy, cleaning someone else's mess
or house,
cooking and everything else, and sometimes you get in trouble and things like that. It's not easy.
That's right.
Right? So I think because right now there's the trend that there's people who come here, they don't want to change the bed for their employers. They don't want to clean. They don't want to shovel the snow. Oh, come on. Who would do that? Your employer? They're hiring you, right? So you just have to be focused on your goal. You know what? Suck it. Let me just do what I have to do, right?
Do everything that you can.
Do everything that you can. Give it your 100%. You know what I mean? You will have the prize. So
I like what you said, that it's very important to focus, because out of 104 million Filipinos in the Philippines, you have been given that opportunity to come here.
Yes.
And once you're here, you have a goal.
Yeah.
And it's not just a goal for yourself.
Yeah.
For the most of us, we come here because we have a family.
Yeah.
And we want to provide a really bright future for our family.
Yeah.
And we have to focus for you to
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. But as you can see, over the last couple of years, the Filipino community is the fastest growing immigrant community here in
Yes.
Canada. Why do you think so? Why is it, in your experience, the Filipinos like you are one of the most progressive immigrants here in Canada? Why?
Well, I think because we Filipinos have very high command of English.
Language.
The language,
proficiency.
right? Yeah. We can speak good English. Most of us. There are people who speak only basic, but with that skill alone, that takes us to any kind of job that we want, right? It's the
That's
communication. It's very important.
Important.
In whatever you do. You clean toilets, of course. How would you understand someone telling you to clean toilet, right? Or to take orders for at the food service counter, right?
That's right.
So it's really very important for us to have that command, English command, and also we're hardworking. We're
Good.
very patient. And one most important thing that I hear a lot from all my employers, they said, "I want to hire a Filipino worker," and I would say, "Oh, how come?" Like, I know the answer already, and they're like, "Because you guys are very, very respectful and very what do you call this? And very hardworking, yeah, very hardworking, very honest, and you're always on time.
That's right.
You barely call in sick, right?
Yes.
And the only thing that I don't like is the drama, which is because most of us, we come here as foreign workers and we leave our family behind,
Very
right?
emotional,
So
sensitive.
we get emotional. We miss them, and the employers see us cry, and they're like,
Yes.
"That's
I know.
amazing." But that's truth, right?
That's right. That's right. Actually, it's not only Fralei's telling all this. Actually, it's coming also from non-Filipinos that the reason why they love working with Filipinos or hiring Filipinos is because of their command in English. English proficiency is very important here. At the same time, just being flexible.
Yes.
I've said this many times that the Filipinos here in Canada or Filipino immigrants are people who has the capacity to reinvent themselves when necessary. So in short, sa Tagalog, madiskarte tayo. We can do anything.
Yeah.
Kung pasayawin tayo, we can dance, we can sing. And we're such a multi-talented people where, you know, a lot of us actually, maybe you've met some people in our community who have been a nurse, a doctor, an engineer back in our home country, but they're doing a different job here, which is not necessarily bad. But it just goes to show that, you know, we can do anything.
Yeah, and we don't know how to complain.
That's right.
We don't complain. You enjoy what you do. We enjoy what we do. So like, instead of complaining, we just turn it into a happy position. Like, you know, you're getting bored at your job, you still smile at it. We're happy people, and that was...
Yeah, so now, coming from being a caregiver, and to all those who are caregivers who started from being a caregiver, I really have a high respect for you guys, because coming here is not easy. Leaving behind a family, children waiting for you, and you know, it's not an overnight situation. And here, Fralei is a good example of, you know, moving from that place where she started as a caregiver, but she did not stop there. She continued and persevered, and now she is one of the most progressive immigration consultancy business here in Calgary. So, Fralei, can you tell me your inspiration behind your company, CIC Experts?
Okay. First and foremost, I started hiring nannies. Okay, after I became a permanent resident, I worked for a family, and I've been looking at. I looked after their children. There were 4 children, and every time we go out or every time they meet with their friends, they're proud of me. They show me off. It's like, look at my nanny. She's so amazing. She's the best. I never had a nanny like her. She's the best. She's from the Philippines, so she's proud of me. And then all of her friends, they come to me and ask me to introduce them to a nanny, like, you know, bring over a nanny for them. So I've been doing that, and I was like, at first I was doing it for free, and I'm like, holy, I can do this for a living. So I started doing that in 2005. 2005, around and 2006, right? So I've been bringing nannies then, and at the same time I was still, doing after in school childcare for other children. I also did bookkeeping, right? But then, with 4 children to feed, right?
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Maybe it's time for me to move on. So I opened my cleaning company. Okay.
Oh, you've done
I've done a lot. I opened my cleaning company.
Okay.
I hired a lot of Filipino foreign workers and also even permanent residents who are looking for a job when they're new here. I hired them. And to be honest with you, it's not just I'm the boss. I go with them.
You clean.
I clean with them because I have to show them how to do it right. They have to do it right, right? Otherwise, we're gonna get fired, right? So we clean. So this is like took me about a couple of years doing cleaning, and then one time, okay, I said to my husband, I'm like, I'm getting tired. I don't want to clean anymore, right? Like I was making good money out of it, right? And then luckily, I mean, one day I was cleaning someone's house, and something like I was cleaning a toilet. Something spilled on my face, and I was like, "That's it."
Yeah.
I
don't want to do this.
I don't want to do this anymore. So I went home. I talked to my husband, Anwar.
But you didn't cry.
I didn't cry. Why would I cry? No,
Okay.
it didn't hurt me at all. But it was like, I'm educated. You know what I mean? I took Bachelor of Science in Accountancy back home. You know what I mean? I was a Dean's Lister, to be honest.
And you're better than that.
And I'm better than that. I can do better than this.
Yes.
Okay, so I went to my husband. I had my new husband then. His name is Anwar. He's a great guy, amazing guy. So anyway, I said to him, you know what, I don't have money. I want to go to school. Can you pay for my education? And he said, what do you want to do? I want to do immigration consultant, right? I was just browsing. I'm like, okay, what do I do now? Because if I want to bring more people in the country, I should have my license, right? So I said, okay, take my visa, right? So I paid it. I took the course for 9 months. I did it online. I finished it, and I'm so blessed. I was able to finish the course and pass the skills exams right away. Like I think it was meant for me.
That's right, and that explains it. That every time I see Fralei and we're friends on Facebook, that's the reason why she's a very effective immigration consultant, because she has a story. She knows the experience of these people. She was like these people before.
Yes.
And that's the connection. When you are doing something that you are passionate and you know where they're coming from, it's easy to connect.
That's correct.
It's
like,
easy to help. You understand.
I understand. There's a passion there. I'm like, I want to help this person, right? I've been there. I know how it feels.
They don't have to explain to you. They don't have to cry. They don't have to,
Sometimes when they complain about their employee, I'm like, come on. 3 more months, 6 more months, and you're gonna have your permanent resident. Don't worry, I got you.
There you go.
So,
there you go. And that's the reason why you're one of the passionate immigration consultants here in Calgary. Very well known, very supportive in the community. And congratulations on your 5th year anniversary. Yes. I know this is a very competitive business as well.
For sure.
You need to be knowledgeable. You need to be always, updated with the current laws and immigration policies. As we all know, immigration is constantly evolving and changing. So my question for you, what advice will you give to our fellow Filipinos, even those who are watching in the Philippines or anywhere in the world who's watching us right now? What advice would you give them if they're interested to come to Canada?
Okay, first thing is don't rush it. Okay, you have to plan. Okay, if you're still in college, finish your education, right? And once you finish your education, improve your English skills. So it is to improve is to communicate more using English language, and also get an experience depending on your skills. If you want to come here, most jobs are open here are caregiver, cook, food service supervisor, hotel industry, so those kind of the jobs. So if you want to come here, focus, okay? Don't rush it. Don't say, I want to come next month. I want to come next year. No, you have to prepare yourself. It's not magic.
Yeah.
right? So prepare yourself.
Yeah, I've always encountered this question from friends back home, like, how would you, like, I want to go to Canada, but I don't know how to do it. And then when I ask this question, what do you do there?
There you go.
I don't have anything. That's why I'm applying in Canada. You cannot come here without experience, without education.
Yeah.
So you have just really mentioned a very good point that you have to prepare. It's not an overnight situation.
No, it's not.
Education is very important.
It's very important.
English communication because of the IELTS requirement?
Most jobs now, they require IELTS. In every aspect of immigration, they require your English exam, such as IELTS, CELPIP, right? So it's really advisable to improve your English skills. Take the course if you have to, right?
What about the experience? How many years minimum?
1 year experience at least on your skills.
Okay, good.
Okay?
It's not
not
long.
easy.
Yeah, it's not easy, but you have to.
You have to, right? So some people, they want to come here. Oh, we have money. We can pay for the government fees, whatever. It's not about the money. It's your skills, right? Oh, we have you anyway. Anyways, like you're gonna do the paperwork for us.
Yeah.
The onus here is not me doing your paperwork.
Yes.
It's all your qualifications, not mine, right? So they have to prepare themselves.
Okay, there you go. Coming from the experts, CIC experts, and there's nothing like being prepared. It's preparation. It's not an overnight situation. Like me personally, if you're gonna ask me, we came here as a permanent independent immigrant. It took us 6 years to prepare for that. And that life-changing decision that I have to come here and bring my whole family. Like back in the Philippines, we're comfortable, we can live there, but it's not just coming to Canada. It's about really preparing yourself in all areas, financially, mentally, emotionally. So it's not an easy thing. Even if you have the money, you have to prepare. Preparation is very key. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to our community as a Filipino-Canadian community. Alberta government, the provincial government of Alberta, has declared June as the official Heritage Month of the Filipinos. And the reason why this was declared as the Heritage Month of the Filipinos is because of our contribution. They want to acknowledge the contribution of the Filipinos working and living here in Alberta. And you are part of this great contribution because you came from being a nanny, you transitioned into not only being a nanny, you've done cleaning services, you've done so many things, and you are an example of someone who just don't want to settle for less.
Yep.
And that's a very, very great attribute of being a Filipino. So my question for you, you have been a generous sponsor to a lot of community events. Personally, why is it important for you to be part of a community like the Filipino-Canadian community? And why is it important to support?
Well, first of all, I want the VIP seats. Just joking.
It's good too.
Well, that's
anyway,
part of it. Yeah. No, kidding aside. You know what? As a small business person here, I have the heart to support someone that is willing to entertain, to give entertainment to our community. Some people bring musicians, actors. Some people do Filipino pageants and things like that, right? This is not just about the person who is producing this event. It's about the people who are interested to come and watch. And in order for them to have a successful event, they need support from a lot of our business people in the community, right? And I'm one of them. And it's an honor that they come and ask me. It's just because they probably know that I have the heart and I really want to, to entertain, somewhat entertain Filipino community. We're home away from our real home. You know what I mean? So just to be a gathering, everybody together. It's something that make them feel home. And if we have a little money to support these events, why not?
That's right.
Right? I cannot, organize an event myself, but there are hardworking
people,
organizers who does it. So you know what? let me help them out,
That's right.
So
Yeah. So thank you so much for your support. And in behalf of the Filipino Champions of Canada, we can truly validate that your support is really very important to the community. And coming from the perspective of being an entrepreneur, a Filipino-Canadian entrepreneur, it's really very important to support community events. And that's what makes our Filipino community here in Calgary very vibrant. And as you can see in Calgary, there's every weekend, there's always an event. And I've seen Fralei in most of those events, and she's always active. And this brings me to this just reminds me that when we started with TFCC, and it just kind of touched me in a way, because the very first sponsor of TFCC is not even a Filipino.
oh,
Let me tell you a story. You know who you are. We met this family, and the reason why they're very supportive and they want to support TFCC and our vision, because of their Filipina caregiver.
oh,
And coming from that that job where you came from, you represented the Filipino in that field, because a lot of Canadian employers are very proud of our Filipino caregivers.
That's correct.
And that's the reason why this family supported the Filipino Champions of Canada's vision, because of the love and support of their Filipino caregiver, who made them very successful, because they can trust their caregiver, they can leave their children, they can travel all over the world without worrying who takes care of their kids. And that's a really very personal story when we all started.
Yes.
When TFCC was very as a startup, nobody heard about us. This family came to us and kind of touched us that we want to support your community because of the Filipino
The
caregiver,
nanny,
the
yeah.
nanny. So those stories are very touching. So now, Fralei, as a community, we're one of the most vibrant community, and also there's a lot of things that we need to also improve. I know you are one person who is very outspoken, and also somebody who is very confident and in a way very strong-natured person. But I've heard so many really good stories about Fralei. I don't know her really that well, but my friends tell me about so many great things about Fralei. You might see her really coming across as very strong, but she has really a golden heart. Now, my question for you, what do you think do we need to improve as a community?
Well, I think right now, what I see is there's different groups in the community. I really want to see them all together. Instead of creating gaps with it, they create groups. Why don't we just make it one strong community? You know what I mean? Make it strong.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of the crowd mentality, right?
Yeah.
Let's support each other. I think with the Filipino business community, we should support each other. For example, I have a gathering. I have an event. I would rather hire one of the Filipino restaurants to cater
Or organizer.
instead of hiring someone else, because why don't we just keep it to ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing.
Charity begins at home.
Begins at home, right? So we help each other, we empower each other, support each other. So I think that's
Yeah.
the most important thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Thank you for your message, and it's very much the vision of the Filipino Champions of Canada to connect, share, and inspire. And our goal is to bring the community together. It doesn't have to be that we are in the same platform, but when it comes to community, we should always be ready to come together and support one another. With that, I would like to congratulate you on your 5th year anniversary as CIC experts, and thanks for gracing our show, TFCC Profiles. Congratulations, Fralei.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.